Hello and welcome to Survival of the Thickest, testing the process of natural selection by this week testing a alien species that's found its way into the studio. So we've got we've had the giant toad in Australia. We've had the American crayfish in this country.
Hang on, wait. So this is invasive?
Yeah,
this is
we have an invasive species, an alien species.
Right. How's it affecting the ecology?
Well, we'll find out in about 25 minutes. Introduce yourself. Go for it.
Hi, I'm Haydn. I'm an engineer. Yeah, I'm the foreign species. I guess I'm invasive. I guess I'm a
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay, so what we thought we'd do this week is I said last time that we'd hopefully get a guest on the show, and we managed to find one. Luckily, persuaded him to do.
We managed to find one.
As if I just appeared.
There was a single candidate.
True. So yeah, those two are sharing a microphone. So I don't know. It might sound a bit funny. But no, we thought we'd talk about what does an engineer do, because obviously Cameron and I, we both do biology, so we're fairly similar courses. But although we've known each other for quite a while, we don't really know what you do in an engineering degree.
What we want to know, basically, is how fun is it building tables?
Oh, it's incredible making that plywood table. It was absolutely insane.
So when you get to engineer school. Actually, no. So, which university are you at? There we go.
I'm at the University of Sheffield.
And so when you get to Sheffield Uni, is it more like, so everything you know about physics is wrong, it's now finances and using software on a computer? Because that's what I've got the impression from you.
Well, there's definitely a lot of, modelling of things to kind of understand how things work and kind of create things, I guess, and design things. But
would you feel like it's not as... I mean, you didn't do anything kind of engineering-wise at sixth form, did you? You just did physics.
No, I did physics and maths and mechanics.
Though it's very theoretical, though, isn't it? Theoretical.
Well, you mean engineering or like what?
No. I mean what you did at sixth form. It's hardly like you actually.
I suppose, but there's a lot of theory that goes into just a typical engineering day. It's kind of like, I don't know. We have like a typical lecture of, I guess, physics theory on a bunch of different things, and then at times we'll be doing like modelling or coding or whatever like that, and sometimes we'll have labs where we actually like test how things work and stuff.
So is it like a 50-50 split between practical and theoretical, or is it one more than the other?
It's definitely more theoretical and definitely more like coding and modelling than it is actual experimental.
Okay.
Well, there you go. And here's me thinking, of all of us, you're the one that's going to get the job straight out of the gate.
I am going to get the job straight out of the gate. I don't know what you're
You're
about.
doing just as much theory as the rest of us.
Nah.
Wasting just as much time.
Good. So, is it what you expect? What you expected, should I say?
Well, I had zero expectations going into it. I have no idea how I end up on the course.
It's the perfect way to choose a course, really, is to know nothing.
Did you just flick through the book and that one?
One day I was like, I should do something with maths and physics. What is there to do with that?
Yeah.
It's going to be engineering.
Yeah.
And so I ended up with mechanical because it's basically the broadest.
So, well, what have you made so far?
What have I made?
I mean,
apart from a table.
We've heard, of course, about the table that revolutionises tables. Like 3 legs or 4.
So, it was a 4-legged table and it was a disaster.
Oh, what? That sounds like a story. Why was it a disaster? Come on, let's hear the gossip.
To it, like when we was making the thing, we were laser cutting it from plywood.
Yeah.
And it literally has a sign on the machine saying, "Do not stick wood in here." And the technicians were like, "Nah, it's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it." And then the thing just sort of caught light while it was getting
the plywood?
Cut. Yeah, the plywood just sort of caught light. So like the parts that we were making, but they only gave us like a finite amount of board. So
I don't know enough about physics, but the combination of lasers and wood seems flawed from the outset.
Less than ideal. So the part caught light, and then we sort of like had to lift the lid up of this laser cutter and blow it out. And then we didn't get another chance to cut it because we only got a sign.
Like blow with your mouth.
Yeah, literally like blow with our mouths out.
Surely, if there's I would have thought there's a more efficient means in like a lab.
Without a doubt, but these are the people that like estimate pi to 3 or something. Like, so plus it's just technicians.
Did it have a nice kind of dark brown trim of burnt wood, or did you?
It was hardly a trim.
Did you make the table? Was it constructed? But did you actually get it done?
Yeah, like we finished the things off. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it was more than a little bit charred. It was. It was a little
smouldering pile of ash. I mean, technically, I can put my can of drink on it, and it does stand up.
It does hold.
It does hold. Yeah. What else then? So you did a table. Anything else?
In my first year, we did this Olympics thing where we had to make like a car thing that could drive 5 meters.
Very Olympics.
Yeah. We'd like compete against different teams and stuff like that. That was.
Let's choose a sport that doesn't require any human activity, and a sport where a motor is involved.
That's not involved in.
So you made. You just. I'm guessing you just designed it then, rather.
Yeah,
than...
we basically just like came up with some. It was really just like an introduction to design. Basically, that was all that project was. But
I mean, you did. I know you did art at GCSE. Do you feel like you have to draw back on that quite a bit because there's an artistic element to it?
We get taught how to do engineering drawing because there's quite a precise way to engineering drawings.
Yeah.
But one of the software we use is called SolidWorks, and it basically just makes you engineering drawings without having to do any of the effort.
To be fair, I bet like a ton of people that do engineering really aren't art inclined.
No.
Like they need the help they can get. Yeah.
Almost like it was just basically a thing we did. I'm almost certainly never really going to need it much, I can imagine. Other than like some little sketches and bits like that, I probably will never need it.
That's how I feel about most of my degree, to be honest. So
I think that's how we all feel.
probably won't need this exact bit.
But I mean, in terms of, in a practical sense, do you imagine you'd probably be given the design by somebody else, an architect or someone who I don't really.
Do you mean like when I'm?
Well, I mean, I don't know what the plan is, but we'll talk about that later. But like. Your own personal design skills probably won't be involved. Yours, I imagine, you're more given the design, and your job is to work out how to produce it.
Do you mean when I'm working as an engineer?
Well, yeah, possibly, yeah.
No, not really. Like there's mechanical engineers are expected to be able to design stuff to a degree. I'm not like a technician where I just get given a plan and it's like put this thing together. Like mechanical engineers come up with their own designs for things.
And is engineering at uni as dorky and nerdy as it's made out to be?
There's definitely a type of person that does engineering.
Just to give context, this is coming from the person that got involved in the Quidditch team at his university.
Yeah, I'm the.
There's a real dorky persona around engineering.
Anyway,
we're the ones that should be ashamed. Yeah.
So there's a type of student then, you'd say.
Yeah, it's definitely a type of person that does engineering. It's very infrequently a girl.
Are there any girls on your course?
There's quite a few. It's probably like a fifth, maybe 30%.
Oh, okay.
Girl. Like.
What about you, Cam? How many girls are on your course?
Only 6 actually.
Oh, and how many of you are there?
7. No, they're all great.
Oh, that's good.
So I'm happy.
I bet you are. Yeah. So back to engineering. You got the. What's the kind of? Is it a bit like the atmospheric physics at sixth form? Because when I went at sixth form, there's certainly a kind of very. Everyone knows you're all kind of clever. Like, to do physics or engineering at least, you've got to have a certain intellect. Did it sort of. An atmosphere of that?
You definitely get that, but you also get like the typical uni students who are just sort of
dossing.
They know why they're there.
Dossing's a good word for it, yeah, maybe. But those people really got thinned out in the first year, and you're kind of left with the tryhards like me and all the international students. The international students, I don't know how they stay awake for like as long as they do and work as hard as they do, but yeah.
Because you do make it sound like there's a considerable workload.
There's a crazy workload, yeah. Like, I mean, this semester is a little bit slower as far as like structured lectures and everything like that are concerned, but the amount of coursework that we have, especially in the last couple semesters, has been insane.
And what does coursework involve? Is it a case of go away and design this?
So one of the big ones I'm working on at the minute is a design audit on a gas turbine. And so we basically had to...
What kind of turbine? Are we talking like an engine turbine?
Yeah, like a gas turbine engine, yeah. Okay. Like a thrust engine, like a jet engine type thing. So it's like a very small one. It's like a model airplane.
Is it like the ones... Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you get those airplanes that look like actual airplanes.
Yeah, like
people will take it really seriously.
It's a fairly decent size. It's probably like... I was about to measure it in the air. That makes no sense. like I don't know, like an arm long, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
But like an
Certainly got some-
elbow to fingertip.
This is it's not a visual medium. Though.
It's a visual podcast.
It's about that long. Oh, okay, yeah, cool.
Hand gestures really don't bode well on this kind of format.
Yeah, but it's a fairly sizable thing. So we had to take the thing apart and then
Yeah.
put it back together in 3 hours.
Oh, that's
And
quite cool.
now we have to...
What, were you kind of literally like given one and then...
Yeah, basically. We were given instructions kind of like how to take it apart and all the tools and everything like that.
Yeah.
So then we had to take it apart.
That sounds like quite an interesting way of doing an exam or an assessed piece of work. I quite
It's
enjoy
pretty
the idea of
decent. We've now got to write a report on the thing, though.
that. Not so much.
Yeah.
Classic
So-
classic backlash. You do something you
Yeah,
enjoy.
yeah.
and then you-
So, did you get it done in 3 hours?
We had a bit of help from the technician.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Was there anyone that was like completely out of it? Like, they just end up with the propeller left and then...
no, everyone managed to put it back together, and I honestly don't know how it worked out so well, because we did none of like the precision steps to like align everything up, but somehow we managed to get it running at full speed at the end somehow anyway. As far as I'm concerned, it's engineering magic, but...
I mean, that's all flying in, isn't it? It's just
Yeah.
magic.
And that's why engineering's not a science.
Oh.
Magic-based.
Oh,
Oh, but then it sounds like an interesting way of doing assessment. Better than ours, I'd say. We should just go home and write a report about Drosophila
Go
eye
home,
genetics or something boring.
write a report, do an exam.
Write a report,
Write a
do an
report.
exam.
Yeah.
Go to lecture.
It's classic. Especially given that I've sacked off anything actually practical.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Oh, that sounds alright. Would you say there's in that? So were you given one like turbine for the group or something, or?
The year's about 200 people, 250 probably,
That's
I
quite a
reckon.
lot.
And then we were split down into 9 groups of about... Oh, Christ, I can't do the math. Like, something. A number.
I can't do
Let
the
me
math.
Do you know, I'm an engineer, let me estimate it.
Marks, yeah.
It's between...
An engineer said, I can't do the maths.
It's between 10 and 50. I think.
Okay.
And then we were given a gas turbine between 2. And then we'd take it
really?
apart, as a pair.
Oh, okay.
You get
Who
to
was your
choose your
partner?
pair,
Yeah,
yeah.
who was
I
your partner?
have literally spoken to the guy like once or twice. I lived with like the guy last year and barely spoke to him. But he was semi-competent.
Classic first year. Classic.
Would you say there's someone in the group or kind of the class who you would go, like, yeah, definitely, like they knew what they were doing?
As
Like,
in,
was
like-
was there someone who just put that turbine together like it was nothing?
There are definitely people in the year who... I can't imagine what their personal statement was like. It must have been absolutely insane, but I know people who have...
I've actually worked for
Yeah.
JCB.
No, they were genuinely...
Rolls-Royce. I've
Rolls
worked with
Royce.
Rolls-Royce.
I know
for
one guy who
some
like
time.
built his own car before he came
747,
to uni.
design that.
Boeing. I own Boeing.
Jim Boeing is my name.
Oh, okay. So, how does the kind of turbine work then? Like, you say gas turbine. I don't mean nothing to me or
So
us.
there's like 4, I guess, steps to it. So first of all, it sucks the air in.
Right.
Okay.
Yep, okay, go on. Sucks the air in,
Is
yep.
that funny? I'm
No,
not sure.
no,
I
no.
haven't been...
No, it was more I heard suck and I was like, what's that thing that goes suck, squeeze, bang, blow? What is that?
Yeah, that is it. That is literally
Oh, is that it?
That is basically it.
Oh,
yeah.
well, then we'll go through this then.
That's basically how it...
Alright, this is completely fresh to me.
You never heard of suck, squeeze, bang, blow? I mean, in an engineering context, that is.
Yeah.
Go on then. We'll start on suck.
Yeah, so there's not really much to suck. It just enters into the turbine. So the turbine blade is spilling.
Is this as a plane's going along kind of thing?
Yeah, I guess so.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
so the whole the shaft, it's a single shaft thing. So you've got a compressor and a turbine blade mounted onto a single shaft. So the shaft is spinning around,
Yeah.
and so it gets sucked into the gas turbine.
Yeah.
And then once it's gone through the inlet, it goes to the compressor. And in the turbine I'm working on at the minute is a centrifugal compressor, which basically means the air comes in and then gets spinned around a little bit and sent kind of outwards from like a circle, I guess.
Yeah.
And then it is accelerated by the compressor and then goes over a diffuser, which slows it back down again to increase the pressure.
So it speeds it up.
Yeah, so the compressor speeds it up first of all as it enters.
Yeah.
And then it's slowed down by the diffuser plate.
Yeah.
to increase the pressure of the flow.
Okay.
And then once it's been slowed down and pressurized, it goes to the combustion chamber, where
Oh, you add the fuel.
kerosene,
Jeez.
Jet A1 is the fuel in this case.
Did you get to use that in your?
No, well, kind of.
Was it a diluted version?
We didn't get to use it. We basically just watched a technician run the thing. Basically, that was it. Yeah, we didn't get to run it ourselves.
Okay.
Then the kerosene's ignited in the combustion chamber.
Yeah.
And it is spat out the back of the combustor at a really high temperature and a really high pressure, and then flows over a turbine blade where it's expanded, which basically means the pressure decreases and the temperature decreases. And then once it's gone through the turbine, it's kicked out the back of a nozzle, and then you've got thrust.
That's what's the thrust.
Yeah.
It's just really heating up air and then thrown out again, kind of.
Kind of. Yeah, there's a
In
little bit
layman's
more
terms.
to it. It's
Oh, yeah.
The old Brayton cycle.
Okay.
I
Calvin
just- I was
cycle.
gonna say, I just want all of you to know that basically all went over my head.
Yeah, I kind of had a rough idea. I was on YouTube and I was watching a video about engines, something like that, and it was about how you've got apparently like 3 different types of turbine engines, and it's something to do with the amount of air that goes actually into the turbine compared to the amount of air that goes around the outside of the turbine. And it's something that's like a jet engine in terms of like like a fighter jet. All of the air that goes in goes straight into the turbine, whereas on like a commercial jet, a lot of air goes around the outside of the turbine. I don't know if that means anything.
Yeah, it's basically still a gas turbine. They're both the same thing. It's just the amount of flow that goes not through the turbine. That's the different bit, I guess. I think that's got to do with fuel economy.
It was, and something else that I thought was interesting. It was something about it was like a graph of speed, and I think it was like fuel economy or something, and it was talking about why Concorde failed, and it was about how to get you can't fly in this certain speed barrier or something like that. You can fly up to the sound barrier, which is fairly easy to do, but then to get over the sound barrier requires a considerable, like, it's exponentially more expensive and fuel consuming to do that.
I have no idea as far as
No,
that's
well,
concerned.
give it a watch. Because I used to love Concorde when I was a kid. I thought, oh, that's really cool. But then they scrapped it, and I was like, oh.
I don't know exactly how Concorde works, but with like a fighter jet engine compared to a jet engine that you'd find on like a commercial plane,
Yeah.
with fighter jet engines, they have a stage after it gets kicked out the back of the nozzle, where they basically stick more fuel into.
It's like an afterburner.
Yeah,
style
an
thing.
afterburner. Yeah, and so they stick more fuel into.
That's why it's called an afterburner.
Yeah, so they're just burning more
After
fuel.
it's,
Burning it
it's,
after
it's
the-
burnt.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wow, all the questions answered. Cool. Well, another thing I wanted to talk about was you hear a lot of people go to instead of going to sixth form, they go to the college or something like that, and they do kind of engineering or mechanics or something like that. Where does that relate to what you do? So obviously, that's saying you're an engineer. It's kind of like 2 different things. So my dad, for example, he was in the Royal Engineers, but no offense, Dad, I don't think you could put a jet engine together. Like, what do you? I guess do you turn into kind of like the boss of those people, kind of thing, or
Kind of. There's a lot of people who claim the word engineer when they're not really.
How would you define it?
engineers. I haven't. It's such a broad category of people.
Yeah.
It's
This seems like a question that should have come.
right at the beginning.
define engineer?
Yeah, I mean,
Define biology.
I honestly,
Oh, here we go.
I really don't know how I'd define it. I guess it's someone that can, I guess, design something based on fundamental.
Yeah.
I
So-
really
so-
have no idea.
Yeah, because like you say, there's a lot of different categories. Actually, so you do what? Is it mechanical engineering?
Mechanical engineering. Yeah.
Well, I have a friend in Germany, and he does electrical engineering.
Right.
So, just a question. Well, why did you choose mechanical engineering over other types of engineering, or was that the default one because you like Sheffield?
Mechanical is a fairly broad field of engineering compared to.
Does that mean you
other
could go
courses.
into more once you finish, kind of thing?
It covers a hell of a lot more, especially at Sheffield. They do modules for mechanical engineering where you can do modules in like your typical aerospace stuff. You can
Now's your chance to plug Sheffield because we've all plugged our unis on this show.
Yeah, so they do modules in like typical aerospace stuff. They do stuff in biomechanics. That's a fairly big.
Oh, that would have been quite interesting.
Fairly big
to talk
field.
About, actually. Are we talking kind of like prosthetic limbs and
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah. So
we've done our fair share of bioengineering, but that's more genetic manipulation rather than actual sort of technological.
Yeah.
I saw something that was quite cool the other day. A bionic eye, which is this sort of functional light detector. So that's all you see. You sort of see different patterns of light, but it means you can see something at all.
Oh, okay.
Like,
is it like fibre optic or something? Or don't know.
I couldn't tell you. Naturally, my interest is not in how something works. It's why it should be used or why not.
Yeah. That's true.
I like to ask existential questions here. Basically, what it did. A big problem, as I'm sure you can imagine, is with blindness, is feeling isolated.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge. It's like a massive mental barrier.
I was going to say not being able to see. That's probably the biggest problem of being
yeah.
blind.
Kind of, you hit a wall there, didn't you?
I mean, it's all...
Blimey.
Well, see, look, this is the
And that's
magic.
if you left your stick at home.
If you notice certain light patterns, you'll be able to see an approaching wall, or maybe you'll be
Yeah.
able to see someone approach you.
All the,
Like,
the,
there was
the
this-
bright
there was this,
headlights of a car
Oh,
flying into them.
That's really meaningful. But if you want to go, oh, he'll dodge a car accident, then that's fine.
Yes or no, is dodging a car accident a good thing?
I disagree. I'm going to put a case forward.
Oh, it's actually funny you should mention car accidents.
Oh,
given,
here we go.
Given the
Pulled out in front of a lorry earlier, let's just get that out of the way.
yeah, given the slightly
Nobody died.
dangerous.
Nobody died.
That's
No
hardly
matter
a
how hard
measure.
you tried.
Hardly a measure. But like,
True.
Like the
True.
really nice thing that was in this particular article was like it's an older guy that's sort of the patient, and that it was around Christmas time, and he was saying, oh yeah, he can see the lights on the Christmas tree,
Oh, that's quite nice, actually,
or he
yeah.
can see his like grandchildren approaching him and stuff,
Yeah.
and like that was really nice. But there was the other interesting element was, of course, as I'm sure you can imagine, this technology is ludicrously expensive.
Yeah.
The NHS in the start of 2017 paid for 10 people to have it. Now, like, honestly, we're talking. I wish I knew the exact figure, but
probably
like
tens of thousands at the very least, isn't it?
oh,
My
way
God.
more. No,
We're talking.
I
hundreds.
wrote a bit of an essay on it, and I think it was 1.5 million
Damn.
for 10 people to have it.
Damn.
For 10 people, and of course there's like hundreds of eligible people right now as well, but you know they can only do so many. But so like it's a limited technology. Like it can only show so much.
Yeah.
It can only
Is it
and,
like?
and it costs so much money.
Is it like a? What actually is it? Does that make any sense? Obviously, I get how it works, but is it like a prosthetic eye
I
that
think-
looks like an eye, or is it
I think there is a combination.
a kind of
of-
Terminator 2 style thing? Where it's like,
It looks very sort of early doors technology in the sense that I think there's some form of implant. There's also
Okay.
something that's sort of glasses like on the side of your head.
yeah.
And I think there's also a wire that connects to a box which probably attaches around the hip or something.
Yeah.
So it's not convenient technology. It's not.
I mean,
it's
they're not
cheap
convenient bit of not having an
technology.
eye, so I suppose anything more than that is an improvement, isn't it?
Well, that is logical. Yeah, I can't argue that.
That sounds like maybe in the future we can do another episode where we can talk about biotechnology, as in biomechanical technology. If you know what I mean, might be interesting. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff we can find. Because it is kind of a, I don't want to say a developing field. Everything's a developing field these days, but I'm sure it's an area that has interesting stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm doing tons at the moment. Like, this could either go on for a while longer. I don't know how much time you want to give this, but
I think we should save it and do it again, maybe in the summer or something.
Well, that's a shame because I kind of remember it quite well now, and it serves as revision while I'm saying it now. It's sort of
slacking off.
It's stuff like using the motor areas of your brain to control prosthetics. And there are
electric
there are
pulses
videos of like monkeys controlling cursors on a screen with no
That's
joystick,
weird.
just their brain. The better one is like a prosthetic arm feeding trial where he's just using the motor areas of his brain.
That's something I've always wondered. I remember there used to be a TV show about your brain and like learning and memory and stuff like that. I cannot remember what it was called. I remember there used to be a part of the show where they'd have like this, I think it was like a ping pong ball or something, and they had to literally like think to move the ping pong ball. Like they were like against each other, and it was like a concentration battle.
It does ring a bell. It does ring a bell now you say it. A concentration battle.
And I've always wondered, how does that work? Like, do you actually have to think, I want to move the ball, or are you just thinking? That's what, I don't know.
Every engineering lecture is a concentration battle, trust me.
Yeah.
And on that note,
I
was waiting for a strong joke to end the podcast.
That was a good one.
And,
well, no, what we could do, we can conclude on, do you feel like you made a good choice doing engineering? Because I know you complain about it, but obviously we all complain about our degrees at the end of the day.
When I first started doing engineering, it was just kind of a thing I did. It was like a course I just was on, and I went in sometimes and studied engineering. And
First year for you?
Yeah, basically. But I've come to kind of find in my second year that it's definitely a thing that I enjoy and find interest.
So you've grown into it then?
Yeah, I've definitely grown into enjoying and finding the subject interesting. Where that'll lead me, I have
no idea.
No idea, but yeah.
So, if you could do anything
in engineering,
with your engineering, what would you do?
I'd be an engineer.
The modules that I'm most enjoying at the minute, and have been enjoying most so far, have a lot to do with fluid flow and thermodynamics more than anything else.
Give me a practical example of this.
And what
about a gas turbine?
Okay.
What about a company? What about what company?
Just
think that would
any aerospace company, any space company, and I don't know.
Oh, well, so you're talking kind of like jet style.
It could be that. It could be designing pipelines.
You should go to North Korea. I've heard they're not really good at rockets.
I do hear they've been having a lot of problems recently with their rockets.
You should.
So perhaps I can help them out.
Help a brother out.
Defect to Pyongyang.
Oh, help a Korean out.
Hi, Kim. Oh,
Kim.
Freudian slip.
I mean, I'm sure they'll be happy to have you on board. I don't think you get gingers in Korea, do you? I've never seen a ginger Korean. That's just a random...
I've never seen a North Korean, to be fair, other than like the elite.
Yeah. Okay, so something thermodynamical and maybe rocket-based or something like that.
Yeah, it covers a lot of stuff, fluid flow.
I mean, to be fair, it's not rocket science.
Terrible.
Hey, I really wanted to get that in. Okay,
and what do? We look at plants and we
we don't really
measure blood pressure.
God,
let's calm
have
down.
you seen like ECG? It's mad. Like that's as far as technology we go. But I'll tell you what though, just before we go on a little sidetrack, the amount of maths that I see in biology, like the amount of people who can't do the maths in biology because they didn't do maths at A level, is quite substantial.
Not real science.
It's based on maths. I'm making a point about mathematics in biology, and now you bring up that biology isn't a science. Well done. That was a good use of 29 minutes and 22 seconds. You finally got it in. Well, anyway, on that non-scientific note, apparently, I think we'll call it a day. Next time, I think we might do one possibly soon, actually. Another next week, maybe.
But then, like I realised, whether Ruben actually edits and uploads is another question entirely. So,
but we might try and get another guest on. Maybe Haydn might join us again next week. and we can have another chat about another area of science. Because it's interesting and it's something different to know. We only know kind of a third of the science, don't we? We just know the biology bit. We don't know about the chemistry or the physics, so we'll find out about that soon. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to Survival of the Thickest. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh god, that's so cliched. And we will see you next time.